TIFU by introducing way too much of myself to my brand new neighbors. So, I recently moved into my boyfriend's house. Nice little place. At the end of a nice little cul-de-sac. Nice neighbors. With nice little families. My boyfriend was at work. And I was working on getting some more stuff out of my car to unpack. It was a nice day. And the neighbors on both sides were in their front yards, watching their young kids play. I was wearing my boyfriend's sweatpants, which were a little loose around the waist, but not too bad, until I had stacked a very large, and very heavy, and very precariously balanced armful of my possessions, and began walking back to the door. I was about 1,015 feet away from the door when the pants just fell right down around my ankles. I was not wearing underwear. I froze in panic for a split second, and decided that I wasn't gonna bend over and show them even more of my ass, to set everything down, which might just draw more attention to the scene. So, I just waddled, as fast as I could, pants around my ankles, over to the door, which was not that fast because tripping, with my naked ass and coochie showing, and dropping and breaking all the contents in my arms, would really have been the icing on top of this absolutely mortifying moment. I just tried to be as nonchalant as possible. No one said anything. No one reacted. So I try to convince myself that no one saw. They were too distracted with their kids. But, let's be real. New neighbor moving in, carrying boxes, butt naked on her bottom half, waddling like a penguin to the door. They saw. I still try to smile and wave back at them, when they casually smile and wave at me in passing. But I don't think I'll ever be able to truly look them in the eye while I'm living here lol. TLDR. Inadvertently showed my neighbors, and their children, for the foreseeable future, my ass plus some full frontal. Then further humiliated myself by waddling like a panicked penguin to safety. Perhaps the parents are just so used to younger folks running around with no pants on they didn't even register your predicament? No, look them in the eye and own it. Every time you meet them, look them dead in the eye and wink. Like, how you doing? Then give them a head nod and, what's up? With the implied answer being my pants. Bitches. In a few years. Out of nowhere. At a party. After you guys are more comfortable. Hey Linda, remember when you first moved in and showed us all your clam and bole? Quote. Ah, Donald ducking it. I wouldn't worry about it. If they even saw it. They were probably just quietly laughing. Everyone has had something embarrassing happen to them. If anything, years from now, you'll all be friends. And it might come up as a good laugh. Nah, don't worry about it. You didn't make a big deal out of it when it happened, so it's much easier for anyone who had seen it to forget. I can totally relate to your embarrassment. Although, in my case, it was secondhand. We were flying to Chicago recently on our way to Los Angeles. We had bulkhead seats, the first row of coach. There was a gentleman already sitting in the aisle seat when we sat down. And my husband, who had the middle seat, immediately started chatting with him. He eventually mentioned that he only had one leg, and asked my husband if he would mind helping him disembark, since his wheelchair was in the hold. My husband happily agreed to help out. We stood up. My husband positioned himself in front of the man, and started toward the front of the plane. The man held on to my husband's shoulder and grabbed the back of each seat as he hopped forward on one leg. I fell in behind them, followed by the entire coach section of a Boeing 737. They had only gotten a few rows along when I realized with horror that his tracksuit was showing signs of losing its fight with gravity. Just as they reached the first row, the pants descended swiftly to the floor, and I, and the rest of the passengers who were waiting patiently to get off, were treated to the full Monty. Not so much as a thong. I was close enough to get a view of both front and back. My husband had his back to the action, but there was a male flight attendant standing in the galley. Of course, the unexpected deployment happened at the narrowest point of the entire aisle, and the man couldn't let go of my husband without falling over. Now, a better person than I would have immediately rushed in to hoist the sweats. But there's no way I'm touching a total stranger and putting my face in his ass to do so. So I just stood there, stunned. The flight attendant finally squeezed around the men and successfully raised the pants and convinced the gentleman to have a seat in first class until his wheelchair arrived, and the patient passengers disembarked. I guess the moral of these stories is, if you're going to wear sweatpants that are too big for you, for the love of all that is holy, wear underwear. Just stop wearing pants. Then it's normal. I've heard of wearing boyfriend's sweatshirts or t-shirts but they're pants. Lol, I'm so sorry about this mortifying moment on your behalf, but I can't stop laughing at this image in my mind. I promise you, all the men in your neighborhood have archived footage from their doorbell cameras for future use. You're in a spank bank now.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.